When asked how to describe what audiences at his Once Upon a Dream collaboration with Deborah Asante will see, aerialist Tavy Stetz quotes, well, Arby's. Different is good. That's because what Once Upon a Dream really is a little hard to describe.
Now, what would you call it?
Yeah. More importantly, you've kind of seen it now.
She's asking the question.
I call it courageous. We are doing something different, and not every artist would step to the table this way.
It's an idea that's had a certain wow factor from the beginning, from when Butler University's Ronald Caltabiano first called.
When Ron approached me about this, I was very surprised because it was so creative. And I'm so outside of the box that usually people don't surprise me with creativity. So I was like, wow, yes.
I prefer to collaborate. I was like, I feel like I only get 50% of the attention, and I like that. Like 100% is too much. 50%, awesome. And Ron paired us, he's like, all right, I've got a great storyteller for you that's gonna be amazing.
But then there was that little matter of logistics. Tavy lives in LA, Deborah is Indianapolis-based. Much of the collaboration was done through long distance, leaving many details, including the show's ending, to be resolved when Tavy arrived in Indy to perform. Make that 4 days before opening. But once he stepped on stage at the Schwartz Center for the Arts, those aerialist juices started flowing.
But that's the way collaboration is. I think when you're together and when you're working, things come up. Like right now, we were just on stage going through some stuff, and I was like, oh, well, it could, like I see what it could eventually end up being. They put together an amazing system that allows me to fly and move versus just being static in the center. It is amazing to see like how, that was another reason why I couldn't plan what I was gonna do before I got here, because I didn't know what I was gonna be able to do.
Where are we going, guys? Where are we going?
I kind of lost it a little bit today in there because it's taxing on the body. And when you ask someone to hold a position for a long time, it's just, drink some water, take a breath, let's talk it through.
Oh, and then there was that other little matter of the irresistible force of two different schools of thought. There's Tavy, who prefers the scripted, meeting Deborah, who prefers the spontaneous.
For me, when I am improvising in the air, it gets, I call it handsy. Like you're doing, oh, do I go here or should I do that? Like, it's just not as smooth and as seamless as it can be. It's just not the most beautiful work.
I think we have learned to trust each other, and I know that he's going to be fabulous in the air, and he will inspire. It's something that happens in the moment, right there, and that is what art is, and that's why you want to be at something like this.
And that's what today is all about, melding Tavy and Deb's two worlds to the beat of a newly added percussionist with the performance just hours away.
Everything is happening last minute.
Okay, something a little bit...
I just planned that this morning.
Sure, it's a little risky, but then that's the point. Take a chance on a new way of seeing. And that includes Deborah pushing perceptions a little when the storyteller renowned for her work with children weaves a tale in part about a very sensual and sexual main character named Lainey.
That led to pleasure. When she experienced sex, even though it isn't packaged pleasantly, she loves it, and it kind of makes her ashamed. So it started to uncover itself, and the dreams became stepping stones to her breaking through to that, to her realizing that she's the one that she's waiting on.
Lainey lives in a dreary world of too much work with too little reward. She idolizes her mother, and when she loses her, life goes into a tailspin. And that's when the dreams begin. And that's Tavy's part, to bring the dreams to life. A river.
Angry, rushing, 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 rushing water.
A dragon fight.
Lainey stood her ground. The dragon turning its head from side to side, wondering why he couldn't smell the fear.
And that's also where some creative headbutting took place. for Tavy felt that Lainey's transformation teetered too close to not making it.
Tavy and I, we sort of bumped heads, and he was like, well, no, it has to be, she's too sad. And I'm like, no, I know her, she's speaking to me. She's struggling through it. It's a process that we go through like butterflies coming out of cocoon.
Which is a great analogy, right? We want to see the change. I want to watch her be a butterfly.
But then Deb revealed the ending, and another creative challenge was resolved, and in a way that we in the audience, and especially the artists, might be familiar with in our own lives.
And that's the progression that I wanted to see, and I felt like we were always dropping back. But now I see the end, and it's like, oh, okay. There's forward movement, which was my goal. And I think we always, and especially as artists, there's always that time where you're like, you can stop yourself from doing things. And I say this after having worked with Cirque du Soleil and dancing with the Bolshoi Ballet in Moscow, and still I have these moments of like, oh, maybe I want to, oh, and you're like, no, let that stuff go.
Right.
So, and that's what I
That's
love
the
about
story.
this story is how, exactly, coming
That's the
into finding your power.
She opened her eyes, she was standing on top of the mountain. We all have our struggles. I hope they are inspired to
Read
to
erotica.
save themselves.
Oh.
No, to come forth, to stand up for yourself, to be strong and enjoy being strong.
Know what you want and then go after it. And because there's always, and that's what I hope happens with this, is that, you know, people see it and they're like, oh, that you're the only one that's standing in your own way.
And she told herself, this is a small thing. You have everything you need to get it done. But I have those moments still that I say, do I deserve that? You know,
And then
it
you
still
eat the
is, right?
cheesecake.
And then I go after it, you're right.